Welcome back to the laboratory. Full disclosure, it's been several months since I did the intro on this video, and well, problems with other cars, problems with the house, problems with my health, problems with women, everything. Also, full disclosure, I discovered between when I shot the intro and now that there was an alternator problem with the Corvette, and the battery voltage was low as a result. Once I fixed the alternator, got the battery voltage back up, the driver's side power window started working again, sort of barely. So we're still going to replace the motor in it and hope that that fixes the problem. Now, if you're here on this channel just to watch that, then you can fast forward through this. For my regular subscribers, more full disclosure. Last time we were in the shop, we were working on the GTO. We had a long list of things that we were going to do on the GTO over the winter because we were going to take a shot at a 10-second ticket in the spring. Well, right after I shot that last video, our local track closed up. And right now it's still in the air. We don't know what's happening. We don't know if we're going to have a track at all to race at this summer. So with news of that, I put the GTO back in the storage, dragged the Corvette back into the shop, and we're working on the Corvette this winter. So with that said, let's start troubleshooting. So first thing first, we know we've got power because the power window motor, again, is working now that we got battery voltage. But I'm going to replace the center console anyway because my console is cracked. So I'm going to show you how you can take that off and check the switches to make sure that you've got voltage to the switches, and B, that the switches actually work. And then we're going to chase the voltage out to the door, take the door panel off, and finally, ultimately replace the motor. So it's a small car. I'm not a big guy, but it's still murder working on the inside of that car. So I'm not sure how good the shots and the camera angles are going to be, but I'm going to try my best. Let's see how it goes. All right, so if we look at the center console, you can see why I want to replace mine. It's got some nasty scratches there. It looks like it's pretty easy to remove. There's a screw there, there's a screw there, and then corresponding on the other side, there's two more screws. But problem is, there's also a screw in the back pointing this way. And to get that screw out means we need to remove the luggage compartment doors here. And to do that, we've got all of these little screws around the edges. Okay, so we're going to do that. Now, again, it's crowded inside this car, so I'm going to see if I can't mount a camera somewhere and time-lapse this, but I don't know if it's going to work or not. Let's see what happens. Okay, so forget the time-lapse idea. That didn't work, but anyway, we pulled out the doors, and I just kind of, they all come apart as one big assembly, so I just slid them up in the rear. And the only other thing you need to worry about, let's see if I can, there's a connector here, right there. I just fell down into the abyss. Okay, and then we can slide this center part out, or just slide it out of the way. And then you can see, if I can get the camera back in here. I think a lot of luck getting the camera in here. Hang on, let me try something else. Okay, so starting from outside, so you know where I am, starting from way outside. Okay, we're going to the back of the console, and there is the bolt. Okay, that's the hellish one. So once we pull that one out, then we can pull out the two side screws on both sides, and the console will come off. So side screws are out, and we're just going to slide the seatbelt down, and I might need to jump in here to do this. Well, I had this thing out before, and I can't remember how I did it now, but yeah, that doesn't seem to be helping anything going that way. Here we go. Okay. And again, trying to get the camera back behind here is going to be a problem, but we've got wiring harnesses that we're dealing with on the switches, so we can unplug those and then get the console out. So talk amongst yourselves while I unplug. Okay, that should be it. There we go. Okay, so you can see what's going on inside the console here. We've got the two switches, and then we've got this inner framework. Okay, and it's that inner framework that is screwed to the back here with that mystery bolt. Okay, as far as the wiring goes, there's one power wire. This looks like it's been monkeyed with at some point in the past. But the passenger side one worked fine. It was the driver's side one that was struggling. So at this point, again, I've done this before already because I went through this whole troubleshooting procedure. But it checked for voltage at both switches, and there was voltage. I swapped the switches side for side because I knew the passenger side window worked. So I put that on the driver's side, and it didn't make a difference. So I know that it's not a voltage problem to the switches, and I know it's not a switch problem. Anyway, with your car, again, you want to make sure that you've got power to the switches, and then you can jumper these things. I'll post the wiring diagram so you know what the colors are, but you can jumper these things and see if the switch is the problem. And if you've got power and you've jumpered this, and it's still not working, then the next thing is we're going to go into the doors, and we're going to look and see if we've got power at the motors. And if we do, then the motor's probably the problem. But at this point now, I'm going to swap out this framework and get my new console in place and put this all back together again. All right, so once we've got the console apart and we've tested for voltage and we've tested that the switches are good and we know there's no problem there, then the next step is to see if we actually get voltage to the motor. So we need to pull the door panels off. So to pull the door panels off, there's a screw there, there's a screw there, there's a screw there. There's two screws for the handle here. This handle, if you pull it back, you can get at a screw and you can take it off, but the problem is, how do you pull it back to put the handle back on after? So we're going to try and take the door panel off with this thing still in place. Now, this little bugger, this is held on with GM's famous little door handle clips. And while I do have the specific tool that you need to remove those clips, it won't work because this knob is actually in a little bit of a recess here, so I can't get the tool back behind the knob to use it. So we're going to use some small screwdrivers and some small pliers, and yeah, you don't need to see this in detail because I'm probably going to invent some new swear words by the time we get this thing off. But anyway, once I get this off, I'll show you what it looks like so you'll understand the frustration. All right, so we found that the magic tool to have is this little dentist pick. I managed to get in there and get behind. If you can see it here, and I'll pull the clip out. And there goes the knob. So this is what it looks like. You've got this kind of clip here that fits into the slots here, and it fits into that slot there. So if you can get a little dental pick and reach around, grab this thing and yank it out, then that's the easy way to do it. All right, with that thing off, now let's just pull the rest of the door panel off. So we're going to start with the handle here, and somebody's obviously been in here at some point before because this thing should have Phillips screws in here, and it doesn't. Looking at it with a flashlight, I could see the screws in there are actually Robertson, I think. They are bigger size, so nice Canadian screw, but not original stuff, which means this door panel's been off at some point probably already for whatever reason. Okay, so there's that screw, and then this screw is going to be behind here, but I don't need to bore you with this, so we can time lapse the rest of it. So it turns out these screws were like really difficult to remove. You couldn't really see them, so you had to kind of just jam the screwdriver in there and probe around until you got it locked in. And there was a second hole in the door too on the upper screw, so somebody had been in there before doing something. All right, with the door panel off, the next step is to remove all of the screws. Some of them are missing here already for the access panel here. And again, obviously somebody's been in here already for whatever reason. So I don't know if if this motor's been replaced at one point already, or if something else was broken that the door needed to come apart. So we've got 4 screws holding it on. We should have 6 screws holding it on, but with this panel removed now, we'll finally be able to see our, we've got one longer screw here too. There's our motor. Okay, so we can check again, see if we're getting voltage now. I know I am, because when the engine was running, when I got the alternator fixed, we had enough voltage that the window would move, but slowly. So I'm going to replace the motor anyway, and we're also going to go and grease up all the tracks and stuff like that. Now, before we remove the motor, we're going to move the window up a little bit so that we've got some room, because with the window all the way down, I don't think we can actually get at the bolts that hold the motor in are from the outside in. So we've got to raise the window. Now, if we raise the window and then pull the motor out, there's nothing holding the window from crashing down. So there's a sweet spot where the window is up about 2/3 the way, and there's a couple of holes in the arms that will line up that we can stick a bolt through there that'll keep the window from falling down. I'll show you that in another picture. But first thing we need to do is raise the window. Now, if we were troubleshooting, we would check and see if we were getting voltage here. Again, I know that I am. Now I could check to make sure we are getting full 12 volts here, that we're not losing something in the harness somewhere along the way. That's a possibility as well. Okay, so let's check for voltage first, and then move the window up and try and lock it in place. All right, so I went ahead, I moved the window up. Again, this thing works, it's weak though. So we're gonna check the voltage now. And my battery's actually almost dead. So measuring the voltage at the switch, measuring the voltage at the battery, I'm getting like 10.7 volts. I'm getting full 10.7 at the switch. And when I press the switch, if you can see it here, we're getting 10.64 at the window. So I know that the wiring is good. So again, I moved the window up to that magic sweet spot where I could get a bolt through those 2 holes. And then I went to move the window down again until it jammed up on that. So now that I know the window is safe, we can reach around, and we've got 3 bolts on the back side of the motor here to pull off, and then we can swap in the new motor. So if I jam the camera all the way in here, you can see one of the bolts there. So there's a plate on the front side or on the outside of the motor that captures the 3 bolts. Here's a replacement motor, so you can see what it's like. There's the 3 bolts that go in from the outside in. So can't really film this. I can't really see it. So I'm just going to reach in there and undo those bolts and pull the motor out. So here's the plate again that mounts on the outside and sandwiches the gear. So there's a bushing here. We're going to look at the bushing, and actually it looks to be in pretty good shape. So we're going to grease that up before we put the new motor in. So I couldn't film undoing the bolts because I was standing right in the way, but a 7/16 ratchet wrench worked perfectly. So at this point, we've got one more connector to undo here, and then we can pull the old motor out. And the gear on it looks like it's got some wear on it. We're going to go in there with some lithium grease, and we're going to grease up the wheel. We're going to grease up the pivot. We're going to grease up all of the window guides and the mechanism. So this is interesting. Not sure where that came from. I don't see anything on the door that's shaped like that. So you never know what you're going to find inside the door of an old car. So let's get out our grease. Let's grease everything up, and then we'll get the new motor in and see if it moves faster than the old one. All right, we got the new motor in, and these motors are used in the C2 and C3 Corvettes, but apparently they swapped them side for side. So on a C2 Corvette, this would be like a passenger side motor. And the harness is a little bit different too. So it comes with an adapter harness. So let's plug that into there. And then this will only go in one way, not that way. It goes in that way. And wow, that's a tight fit. We might need some tools to put that in. Really need to squeeze this thing to get these tabs in. Should have done this on the bench first, I guess. That would have been the smart thing to do. Yeah, let me get some tools. All right, we got the new motor in and attached, and again, my battery is almost dead here, but if we and I've bumped it up enough that I could pull out the safety bolt that I had in there too, which I don't know where I put it now. Oh, here. This was the bolt that I used. So that's out, and now the window goes up, goes down a little bit faster, but it still seems to be struggling. So evidently the motor wasn't just the problem, it's the mechanism that's seized up. So we're going to go through with our lithium grease, and we're going to grease all the guides, grease the mechanism, and hopefully that loosens things up. If not, then the next thing is to pull the window out, pull the whole mechanism out, and see what's causing everything to bind. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this one. So if you've watched this far, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, the usual stuff that everybody on YouTube says. And we got lots more to do on the Corvette, so probably be another video coming up, hopefully not as long as this one took. But anyway, we'll see what happens in the future. So in the meantime, as always, be kind, be humble. We'll see you next time.